My name is Tony Abulu. I'm the writer, director, and producer of Dr. Bello.
And Dr. Bello was a box office success here in Nigeria?
Oh yes, it was relatively, in terms of Nigerian standards, it was one of the highest grossing movies for 2013.
So what sort of money did it take?
You mean, well, I think it made gross revenues made a little close to about $100,000.
Okay,
Yes.
And you also released the film in the States through AMC.
Yes.
Describe to me how you did that.
Well, AMC Cinema, I just sent a copy of the movie to them. I'm based in New York. I sent a copy of the movie to them in LA, and they took a look at it and they liked it, and I got a call from them and said, though this is kind of unorthodox because you're not an official Hollywood film director, a distributor, but do you have the kind of paraphernalia to do this? And I explained to them, yes, as president of the Filmmakers Association of Nigeria in the U.S., we've had enough time to set up certain distribution opportunities, and we had the kind of management team around that kind of release. So that's what we did, and we released it in 20 cinemas, 20 of the biggest urban cinemas in America.
The primary concern was whether you had a marketing budget, wasn't it?
Exactly.
How did you raise that marketing
which they
budget?
call P&A,
Yes.
print and advertising budget.
Yeah.
It was kind of difficult. I had to eventually go back to Nexim Bank, who were the main funding source for...
that was out of the film fund they ran.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would say in Nigeria at the time, it was totally unheard of. To be going back to a bank and asking for more money for P&A.
Yeah.
So I would say I will thank them for doing that, but I don't think we had enough money.
So how much did they give you?
They gave me $150,000.
And of that?
Out of that, the cost of DCPs, digital cinema print, and some of the other things that were mandatory for you to prepare ran about $100,000.
Okay.
And so you had just $50,000 to advertise on TV, on radio, all the flyers and stuff, compared to a movie like a James Bond movie that spent about $300 million.
Yeah.
So, and you're competing in the same market. As a matter of fact, in the theater in New York City, I was in one room, and Bruce Willis was in the other room, and James Bond was in the other room.
And it sounds like that was a bit of an uneven competition. How well did you do in terms of...
I think we had about a total of about 20,000 people see the film. We believe strongly that if we had enough money, even as little as $1 million, we could have, because people saw it based on what we had seen on Facebook, that we had close to 3 million engaged users who were saying that we have to see this film, we have to see this film. And so we believe that it would go out, but unfortunately we couldn't get the word out early enough, and so we still believe that with something as little as that, we can get people out to see a completely different type of spiritual film, like never told before in the cinemas.
And your latest film is called Superstar.
Yes, called
What's
Superstar.
the story of Superstar?
Superstar is the story of a little young Nigerian kid from the ghetto, an aspiring musician, songwriter, who's trying to make it in the big city life in Lagos, Nigeria.
And it's an unusual film, isn't it? Because it's in some ways it's a music film.
Yes, which is totally unusual in Nigeria. But I wanted to do something. Dr. Bello was not your typical type of Nigerian story. I made Dr. Bello to have people think and draw their own conclusions at the end. I don't think Nigerians are used to that. Nigerians would like you to explain the story, let it be very simple, let it be clear. So I decided to do this film for them, Superstar. So it's going to be driven by the music. We have a lot of star musicians, and you know that the Nigerian music industry now is thriving a lot and has a lot of support.
Will be in it musically?
We're looking at Tiwa Savage, we're looking at hopefully Davido, we're looking at Banky W, we're looking at all the favorites that are there.
Are there?
Yes.
And when will it be released?
Hopefully March 2015.
Okay. And the money you raised through the federal government's film fund?
Yeah, part of it. The Nollywood, it's called the Nollywood Film Fund, which is like an endowment fund. First time in the history of Nigeria.
And there was recently a funding round. How many people applied for that?
About 260 companies. And so far, the first to be greenlit were 32. I think by the time we're done, we'll have about 60.
And you were one of the 32?
Yes, I was one of the 32.